are one person who is leading without borders. This is a part of a landmark book project that we are doing with Herky, which is the 49 Extraordinary Indian Women who lead with courage, purpose, and brilliance. And why did we actually come up with the 49 is because women make 49.7% in the world. And this series is a powerful reminder that nearly half of humanity's voices must not only be heard but celebrated. So today we will celebrate your voice here with all the work that you have done and commendable stuff that you have led your life with. So at its heart, today's theme is leading without borders, and it truly connects to you. So I just want to quickly introduce you to the audience, and then I'll dive in into asking about yourself, and so that they can learn from your life and experiences. So our guest today is Aruna Jayanthi. She's a senior leader in technology and consulting industry with extensive international experience working across the Americas, Europe, Asia Pacific, and currently leading Capgemini business in Canada and Latin America. Worked in several management positions already in this organization, was an independent director with SBI Capital Markets. You also served as an executive council with NASCOM. I think accolades, accolades, accolades. So amazing. So, Aruna, just first, of course, welcome. And I hope that you are all geared up to answer everything about your life so that incredible women who are working, like joining from Herky, who are coming together to ask you maybe a few questions also after that I have finished mine. How does it feel for you?
First of all, Archana, thanks so much for inviting me. I think it's a privilege to be included in the 49 Women project that you talked about. Really happy to be here and enjoy the conversation. We'll take it as it comes.
Absolutely great. So, Aruna, I said,
I know, sorry, I know it's like 7 in the evening, so I really appreciate everybody joining on a Friday evening. I mean, that's very nice.
this is your aura and the credibility that you bring with yourself. That's why, we are joining in today to know more about you. So, Aruna, as we are celebrating 49%, right? It's a reminder of our collective voices that are essential for shaping the future, definitely. So, when you hear of this framing, what does it bring to you? And how does your experience of leading across borders connect to this idea of shared voices and global leadership?
I think it's first of all, I think it's a very good idea. It's much needed. I think sometimes, when I started my career, there were not that many, and then I would always look at who's doing this, and there were few voices that you could hear about, and now there's plenty. I think it's good for people to hear what others are doing. I mean, some may be exciting, some not, but whatever it is, there's something to learn and from every single voice. So I think sometimes it's just exciting to listen, to learn, to celebrate. So I think it's a great initiative.
That's true. That is, of course, amazing. So let me just ask you about your journey now. That what I would say has been your biggest motivator fueling your passion for personal growth and leadership so far.
I think it's just I wake up every morning and I'm excited, Archana, about the day, about the future. So I'm an incredibly positive person. So it's not that I need a lot of motivation to do anything. It doesn't come from outside. It's just my drive to see, whatever project I'm doing. It doesn't matter whether I'm the CEO or even before when I was doing, smaller projects. It would be how can I be successful at that? It is not about what is in it for me, but what is in it for the work that I'm doing, right? You want to put your best in, you want to really showcase what is out there. And I think that's the excitement. It's the excitement of the challenge, the excitement of really doing something that maybe has not been done before.
Yeah, so true. And I think that has, I think, taken you to places, if I can say it that way. But I heard in one of your TED Talks, Aruna, that you said, you've worked with such diverse audiences, but ultimately the issues, the problems, the way we are as people is pretty much the same. And I want to understand from your life experience, what are some powerful lessons that might have come out for you, in the global context of your work?
Yeah, I've said that before, and I will say it multiple times again. At the end, the business is all about people. I mean, of course, you have to make a profit, you have to keep customers happy. There are those fundamental things, right?
Yeah,
About,
yeah.
adding value to business, adding value to customers, to stakeholders, etc. But when you're managing it, you're managing a business and growing something, it's all about the people. And I mean, I've worked right from Japan, Australia on this side, from Asia Pacific on the other side, to Mexico, to Brazil, and across the world. I've worked on it. But at the end, I find that what makes business successful is how motivated the people are, and how they're really connected, how they work with purpose to create something. And when you can tap into that conscience and that energy of the people, I think you can get great results. And personally, I mean, to give you an example, when I first took over that time, I was thinking, oh my God, these macho Latino culture, how am I going to manage this? And then I found they're the sweetest people on earth. I really enjoy, when I go to Mexico or other those countries, I find so much like India in terms of the warmth, the culture, the energy. So I think at the end, it just comes down to, do you understand the culture, the global
Mm.
context in which you're operating, and can you really harness the energy that the people have there?
So I want to know, in all the continents that you have been, or the kind of cultures you've been, what have you really enjoyed about a special place, a special city, a special country, a special kind of culture? What has your sweetest memory been?
If I have to really think of a place that made me think, it was home during COVID. I think
Okay.
that really brought out for us. I mean, I've traveled a lot, work outside a lot, but at home in Mumbai during COVID, you really, it opens your eyes to, you just assume a certain work environment. You assume that you have to be in a certain way, work in a certain way. The whole game changed during COVID, right? And then it just gives you a different dimension of how you can look at the world and how you can operate in that model. I'm not saying it's for the best, but COVID was a time of intense introspection and learning. I'm sure for you as well, for everybody.
For everybody. And I'm glad that you said home because, normally somebody will give an example of some other place. But I think people who go outside, also the relevance of home becomes even stronger. And I'm glad you feel it that way as well.
Gosh, and I travel. I'm so happy to come back home and eat some good home food.
I know. So, what's your favorite food? Let's come to that.
What do I like best? I think I like simple dal chawal, or I like dosas, but I'll eat whatever comes my way.
Oh, that's great. And do you cook yourself?
I'm afraid I'm not a great cook, Archana. I mean, I would love to. I think I had to during COVID. I learned it. I would call my mom every every meal to say, how do I do this? But I managed.
Okay, so personally, I want to ask you, and of course, the audience and the incredible women who have joined us, don't hesitate to put your questions in the Q&A box. I would love if you ask Aruna some questions. I can take it on from, whenever I see them. So here it goes from my end. Aruna, if you had to really sum up your life and the person that you have become, tell us a little bit about that. I mean, your upbringing to, shifting to different countries to who you are right now. How did you really transcend? And who's this Aruna now?
I think at the end, we're all simple. Um, I think simple human beings, part of a community. I think that's above all for me. That's important. My work doesn't define me, and I'm very clear about that.
Oh,
Okay.
that's incredible.
When I stop working, I'm not CEO of XXX in Capgemini. Okay. I am a person who has got certain capabilities, certain skills. This is the way I contribute to the community. This is the way I can energize and bring value to people. I think that's the most important thing. If you let yourself be defined by your position and title, what happens when that title goes away? But going back a little bit to your question, I think I grew up fairly. in a middle class family. I'm from Mumbai, and I never, ever was made to feel about this women, men. The women have to do better. And 20 years later at work, when people started talking about this, and I'm thinking, what is this? Okay, of course, now I'm not downplaying it. I realize it, but I'm just saying I grew up in an environment where there was no difference at all. You're who you are. You study, you
Right.
get a job, you work, and then do the best you can.
So how did you really get into tech? Because those days, I mean, this was an alien word, and woman in tech is like literally somebody, I think you must be really questioned and say, are you sure you want to be here? And it's a man's world after all.
So I have to say it was an accident. I was at business school, and TCS came to campus, and it was the first interview. It was the first company that came to campus, and it was the first interview. I said, okay, let me go for it as a practice interview, because I really wanted to apply to the next day was, I think, Unilever or Citibank or something. And I just wanted those companies. And I said, okay, fine, let's do it. I took it. And then they stopped me. I didn't, I should have read the rules better. They stopped me from other interviews. And then they said, okay,
Oh, you
you,
have to.
yeah, the campus rules, right? So I got into TCS, and I have never once looked back. And I think it was it was such a right thing to do. And now today, um, tech is behind everything. I mean, no matter which
I know.
industry you're in, it's all about tech. And I think it was, in hindsight, it was the best thing that happened to me.
Wow, so beautiful. So, I mean, let me just, of course, take one question from, the audience who's right here. Let me just ask from here right now, and then we'll keep coming back to my questions again. So, Anjali is asking, how do you start back again after a break from maternity for around a year and above? I see a very little opportunities which are available to us. I've been facing lack of opportunities to continue back to the career. What are your takes on that, and what and above beyond you could do until you get any of these opportunities? And I'm looking forward to answering this question. So, Anjali,
I
here it.
think Yes, Anjali, great question. I think today there are so many forums which have second career options. I think her key is one of those already, right? You provide a platform for second careers. I know of at least two others. And Frank, and it's not about taking a break. I've always said this before. If you look at a career of 35, 40 years like me, what is it? How does a break of 6 months or 1 year or 2 year matter? It's not. In a span of 30 years, 2 years or 1 year is nothing. So you have to keep that perspective in mind. I think employers keep that perspective in mind. And today, when there is a shortage of talent, so every able-bodied man and woman is welcome to do that. I mean, every capable person. So Anjali, you really have to think about, what is the value that you bring to the table? Why should a company hire you? And if you really start focusing on that and putting that on your communication and your CV, I think you should be able to get a job. And look at the platforms. I mean, there are several second career platforms for women.
That is true. And honestly, Aruna, after a 30-year-old stint with my corporate life, I actually ventured into something called the Second Act. And Second Act is about not only about bouncing back into the job, but like truly finding your potential. And it could be as creative as, becoming a singer to, really honing what you really wanted to do. So, so there are platforms definitely, and I think that there is a great potential of women out there. So I just hope she gets the answer as well. Yeah, great. So I'll take the other question as well, since the questions are pouring in. And the second one I'll take from Karina. She says, do you have any tips that would help us in separating our personal identity and professional identity, considering we spend 8 to 10 hours a day at workplaces, for someone who is about to enter her mid-senior level in the corporate life?
I think I think social media platforms provide you a great platform as well to create your own personal identity, in terms of talking about what you like. Maybe your work is about, I don't know, let's say selling shampoo. okay, or whatever it is. But you may have other interests and passions about music, about social responsibility, about working with an NGO. There are ways in which you can make yourself be heard, be seen, and take up something. I mean, it's hard work, okay, Karina. But then if you are working 8 to 10 hours a day, I think you always have to remember to take out that 1 hour or 2 hours a week to focus on something, do some volunteering, you have to find. I'm not saying I was very successful in doing that. I realized it a little late, and I think I started late, but nevertheless, you have to just find that time for at least 1 or 2 hours a week. Go learn music, go learn painting, do something that is different from your corporate life.
Yes, the second act. Okay, so I wanted to ask you a related question, which says that what does it really take to be a change maker today, even when the gendered expectations are still creating barriers? I mean, there is definitely a gap that we still all have to fill. So, what do we as women need to do?
I think first, did I get the question right? As a change maker, you said?
As a change maker, a woman who needs to change, the world, things around her, and her environment, and also very aware that there is gendered expectations along with it, which can create barriers and does create barriers.
It depends on the work environment that you're in. Okay, I think first of all, I hope you have a supportive work environment which really recognizes you for the merit and the value that you bring versus the gender. If that is the case, then it's easy. You have to. It's also about personal confidence and the being able to step up. I've seen too many women have this, what they call now the imposter syndrome, where
Yes.
you feel, really, do I deserve this? Am I where I need to be? I think you just need to get rid of those mental blocks, and really go for it. And you have to start being the change maker. Nobody is going to do it for you and give it to you on a platter. And that comes with confidence, with self assurance, with the ability to stand up and say, I want this, ask for what you want, and then you'll start being the change maker.
That's a really great response to that. Tell me, I'm sure that you faced a lot of stress along with, the travel and the kind of positions you've held. What is your mantra of creating balance in your life?
So first of all, I don't get stressed. I don't know what it is, but
Oh,
Archana,
great.
I don't know. Uh, People say,
Amazing.
"You get
Yeah.
stressed." I said, no, I don't get stressed because there's always.
Wow.
Um,
What is
so I,
mantra for that first?
no,
First, tell
I
us
think
how come the
you know
whole
what?
world is stressed.
No, the point is, what what is what do you accomplish getting stressed? If you think of it saying that, okay, I'll get stressed, I'll just get worked up, and it's not solving the problem. Focus on solving the darn problem, right? And then you can think about it. So there is a problem, my mind immediately is thinking about, what is the plan B, what is the plan C, what is the alternative. It's like they say, the old saying that you can't cry over spilt milk. Okay, then you start to figure out, okay, I'll mop the thing up, but then where do I get the next glass? What do I do? So if you get into a constructive mindset to say, okay, what do I actually do? You get into a constructive, action oriented mindset as opposed to crying over something. And I think that really can be a big, I wouldn't say stress buster, but that could be a way in terms of coping with challenges and then moving forward.
I mean, I'm still absorbing your answer. I mean, it's really incredible. And the kind of life that you're leading, you say, okay, I understand and I'm very aware. And that's where we all need to be. So kudos to you, literally. But there is a question from Garima, and she's saying that if the work environment is toxic, okay, and it makes it difficult still to leave immediately, how can one break the shell, maintain composure, and plan an effective transition to move out?
That's a much harder one, Garima. I think then you have to figure out, can you change that work environment? Is that work environment right for you? Are you staying there because you have no other job opportunity, or can you leave? I'm not saying you should leave, but I'm just saying you have to figure out how to go talk to the senior person, say, why is it toxic? What can you do to help to change it? But if everything else fails, I mean, you got to give it a shot. But if everything else fails, then go find something else.
And of course, from your personal life, of creating priorities and boundaries between personal and professional, somebody is asking with no name here, how does one manage that?
Sorry, what was the question?
The
Balancing
question is
between?
balancing your personal and professional with clear boundaries and priorities. How did you manage with your life?
I don't think I managed it very well, frankly. I think it was all over the place. And I think that very often I gave work my first priority. I remember, I think I was traveling. I had a client meeting in the US. My daughter was born. I had a client meeting in Boston, and the guy said, you have to absolutely come. And my daughter was, I think, 2 months old. And I said, okay, I'm going. Right. I just went for 3 days. So I'm afraid I never balanced my priorities well, but I had a good support system and that worked. So I'm not sure I'm the best person to give advice on on how to balance it. But I think it depends on each individual and what is your personal priority. You got to take that. There's nothing right or wrong about, am I putting work first? Am I putting my personal agenda first? It depends on each individual.
So, did you, like many women, also go through a lot of guilt trip?
Never.
Never. Oh, that's
Never.
commendable. You're so brilliant. I mean, your responses are so amazing. More like I haven't heard this from anybody. So we really need to learn from you.
No, guilt about what?
Guilt
I
about
mean,
leaving the child back, guilt about not being available at home, guilt about the sick person and you not there, guilt about everything. I mean, how we feel and live and breathe guilt all the time as women.
no, I think that's so. I mean, I have to admit, I never felt guilty. I think once, I'll tell you a story. I would travel like incessantly. And then every time I go, my daughter would hang around. You know how little children are? They would hang on, catch hold of my leg and then wrap arms around it and say, Mama, don't go, Mama, don't go. And I would like feel so bad, but I would anyway leave. I'd go to the airport. My mom was there with me, and then I'd call my mom, and she says the minute you walked out of the door, she just turned back, stopped crying, did something on her own. She never even looked back. Children just adapt so
Very
quickly.
true.
Okay, I
Yeah.
think it's both, but I was always there on the weekends for her, no matter what I did. And I think I spent a lot of time. I was there for most school events. Fortunately, I worked in companies that were understanding. And, even though today we talk about flexible timing, and even 20 years ago, I had that luxury. So, of course, maybe I was lucky to have the environment, not to have that guilt trip. But I think it's also a mindset. I never did. And today I tell my daughter, remember you did that and you used to ask me? She says, really, mom? Of course. Now since she started working, she understands the thing.
So cute. I want to ask you, like Gemini, does it have like, the DEI that we normally see in different organizations to do with, okay, women leadership, that much percentage, or, okay, the LGBTQI, some part of like, recruiting happens. So is there a format that you follow? How does that become an inclusive place for everybody? What have you done to really make it, okay for everybody to come in?
I think it was there. I think we started doing this, I don't know, 20, 25 years ago already,
Really?
in terms of saying, yeah, we need more women at the workplace. We need a more equal and inclusive environment. And fortunately, Archana, the tech and consulting industry is far easier than other industries in terms of providing the flexibility. So you can do tech work from anywhere, right? You don't have to be. So we give people that flexibility quite a bit. Whereas if you're in a, let's say, consumer product sales or manufacturing at a shop floor kind of job, you have less flexibility. So I think some industries truly allow you far more flexibility, but we did have that since a long time. And not just for women, for
But
everything. And I don't say the flexibility is only for women. I think it's for everybody. Men have the same needs too, right? You want to go to a school parent-teacher meeting, so I think it needs to be quite equitable.
wow, that's amazing. I think lots of organizations also need to step up to that. And I don't think that's really the case with most of them right now. But of course, it's it's a learning curve and everybody's learning from each other. So I hope that there will be a good, equal world very soon, in a couple of years at least. But of course, there are challenges. And I want to ask you, in your leadership tenure, what are some defining moments for you that taught you adaptability, courage, taking a decision which might be good for the company, but like not so good for maybe the employees or the people? So I'm sure there are lots of tested moments in your leadership that came along.
There are, but you have to, sometimes, you try your best to make sure that it's a win-win for everybody. But sometimes there are cases where an individual may be impacted or not. You just have to figure out how to deal with it with empathy. Look at it from, stand in that person's shoe and then figure out how the world is. You can't always take a super corporate view and say, okay, this is it, I'm doing it for the company, without considering what it means for the um, for not just the employees but also the community around you. And I think when you have that in mind, you create a sense of trust and with the employees, and say, okay, they understand that you're doing the right thing for everybody.
Great. Shilpa says that she is from Capgemini, Mumbai, and she
Yeah.
admires you and feels proud of having you here. But she has a question. She says, which specific interpersonal skills and strategic shifts are non-negotiable for high potential women today to transition from effective management to value creating business leadership?
What skills are non-negotiable? I think being bold. Okay, that's not a skill, that's more a trait. I would say strong communication.
Mm,
I think it's absolutely being able to communicate with clarity and not just keep talking. I mean, a lot of people can talk, but I think it's able to get the message very succinctly across. I think that's an absolutely non-negotiable one. And second is being the master of whatever you are, the area in which you are. You have to be able to speak um, with authenticity, and you have to come across as an expert. Okay, if you just go unprepared, bluff your way through a meeting or whatever you're trying to do, it doesn't work, right? So I think being prepared, being authentic, being an expert, and communicating it strongly will get anybody places. Archana, did I lose you? Archana, you're frozen.
I'm so sorry. There was power cut at my place, so I just went off. I couldn't hear you, but I'm joining from my laptop in a minute. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sorry for not hearing your response totally, but I'm sure it's recorded now. I'll go through it one more time. But in the meantime, while my laptop is still coming up, Aruna, I want to know that I'm sure that you have your me time, and you've always wanted to spend time in a way that you can also recoup and come out with the best that you have. What do you do to really enjoy your me time?
I love music. I listen a lot to music. I also learn a little bit music. I'm not saying I'm good at it, but it's never too late to learn anything, right? So even here in New York, I found a teacher, and I'm learning Indian classical music. So I read a lot. I Yeah, music, reading, those are my stress busters. I won't call it stress busters, but it's more in terms of my me time, just
Mhm.
unwinding time.
Yeah, I can imagine because I think you said you don't experience that kind of stress, and that's
No,
amazing. I need to learn. Do you follow any kind of meditation or silence or being with yourself, just quietening down? Have you
no,
ever found the need to?
no, I cannot. I mean, maybe I have to try it one day, but I just can't. I think I tried it once. Maybe I didn't give it a shot too long, but no, I don't.
Okay. I want to also know, of course, a little bit more personal that today's women,
Recording in progress.
just,
You've got two lines going.
yeah, you don't experience electricity cuts in US.
No,
So this is something that happens often, and we are in
no,
Delhi,
and I
capital.
was there in Mumbai till 4 years ago. So
Yeah, Mumbai doesn't experience so much, I still feel. Yeah. Anyway, so what I was asking was a lot of young women now are more ambitious than at least the generation I come from. Like you said, you were given something and you made something big out of it. Now they have a lot of choice. To the women of today, and you have a daughter too, what is a message that you want to give from your experience today? Or is there something that you would like to know, let them know? How should they navigate through whatever's coming their way or this life?
um, two things. First is do do what you like, where your passion is. Okay, you have to feel comfortable that every day you enjoy going to work. You have to absolutely love what you do. Okay, and that's the only way you're going to be successful at it. Okay? Not because it's a chore, it's a duty, it's just another job. You have to give everything to it, and that comes when you like it and you have passion for it. uh, the second is don't worry too much about what are the 5 steps ahead. Don't think about, okay, I want to be the general manager, I want to be the CEO. Do what you have at hand extremely well. Okay,
Wow.
and success and the next step will come on its own. Okay, and do not be impatient about it. Do not say, okay, I do not like this, I do not want to do this, I'm only going to do it. I mean, you have to do some things in that path that you may not like, but when you do it extremely well, it makes a big difference.
And how do you define success, Aruna? Because it,
It's an elusive definition, Archana. It means so much different. For me,
yeah.
success is not, it's not a position. Success to me is, have I made a difference to something? Have I made a difference to the company? Have I made a difference to the people I work with? I mean, that to me is the most important. When somebody comes to me, the other day I was on a holiday and I was crossing the road. This was in Jodhpur last Christmas. And while I was crossing the road, a lady came running to me and she said, I worked with you 10 years ago and you told me I should do this. And I've done it and I'm so happy you told me to do it. That to me is success, right? And I frankly didn't remember where I met her and what I said to her. But the fact that she came to me and she after all, then she reminded me of the incident and then it came to my mind. But that's what I think we have to be humble enough to understand that success is not in a position. Success is in what an impact you make on people and your environment.
Okay, so supporting question there I want to ask you is that there are a lot of young women also who are dreaming to get global careers, but sometimes they don't know where to start, and there's a lot of confusion or doubt, I would say. Do they even belong to those tables? What's your message to women who really want to have careers globally?
You can have today, the world is so open and there's so much of hybrid remote work. I think you can take a global position even when you're sitting in India. So first of all, the restrictions are far less in terms of what you can do. First, you have to find a company that really does global work, and then you have to find a way in which you can start interacting with international customers, with international colleagues, and then figure a way out in which you can really contribute to that. But I would say you have to be culturally adaptable. You have to be very, very strong in communication. I don't want to really, I've said this also for another one. I think communication today is so important to be, there's so much of noise. I mean, there's social media, there's this and that, and you have to be able to stand out amidst that whole clutter and be able to say clearly who are you, what do you want, and what do you want to accomplish.
Yeah, so nice. Okay, Karina has a question again, and she says that the Gen Z and the new boundaries that we are seeing at workplaces, do you think there's a hustle culture is still the way to go, or is it asking for balance, the fairer, the smarter approach today?
I don't know about the hustle culture. Okay, I have to learn it. Maybe I'm not Gen Z here. Okay, so I think maybe I'm not getting the full question, but I think there is certainly a demand for more fairer and this. Maybe I've been fortunate to have worked in two companies which have been of that nature, but I can appreciate where it is not the case, and it's certainly we all have to fight for that. We all have to make the case, and Archana, this is a great forum to really make those opinions and those voices heard, right? And I think all of us have responsibility as change makers.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, now I have some fun questions for you as well. And I want to know one book or movie that shaped your leadership philosophy, or you yourself, forget leadership, but you yourself.
Um, there are two, if I can pick. Okay,
Okay.
so has anybody seen Gone with the Wind?
I'm sure they have, and
Whole
everybody
movie,
has.
right? Or I mean, the woman there, I think she's a nasty piece of work, right? Really selfish, self-centered. But when you look at her determination and resilience in the face of everything going down, challenge after challenge after challenge, I
Mhm.
was very impressed by that. I think I read that book maybe 4 or 5 times. I saw the movie. I just love it. Okay, I don't like her character. I don't like the some of the settings, but I'm just so amazed at. I think I must have seen it when I was, I don't know, 15 years old and read the book then. And it's something that I always keep going back to. Another one, if I can pick, is um, eh, I don't know whether people see them now, but when I was growing up, there were a lot of war movies, okay,
Yeah.
especially after World War II, and then so I grew up with I don't know, thanks to my parents, cousins, on a steady diet of war books and war movies, right?
Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
know if anybody has seen The Great Escape. It's a fantastic movie. I see it. I think every year I should. My daughter is now a big fan of it.
Oh,
It's a fun movie, but it's also for me the army, the culture around that in terms of teamwork, resilience, ownership, and above all, it's about honor and valor. I think those are very, very important ideas and inspirational views for me.
so cool. All right. So tell me a place in the world that taught you something unexpected.
I mean, we talked about it home
Okay.
during
Well,
COVID.
that's not unexpected. That was something really expected as well.
Yeah. No, can't think of any. I learn from every place. There's something
Okay.
new and exciting.
All right. So, one piece of advice, I'm sure that you've answered this question many times, but one piece of advice that you like the 25-year-old self get from you today.
My
Yeah.
25-year-old self, maybe I should have had less fun. I wasn't serious when I started work. I was like fooling around. Maybe I could have done things faster. I had a lot of fun in life.
Oh my
As
God,
a
don't
25-year-old, I don't think I focused on work, and that's not a piece of advice I'd give to the young people now.
really? I thought those days are magical, and I think I want to relive those days as well myself because life
Yeah,
gets more serious on you, by the way. So it's good to
yeah,
have some fun in the beginning.
yeah, I agree. So I don't know if I would change it, but yeah, maybe.
So great, Aruna. Thank you for joining in. I know that we caught you at a morning time and your day must be really busy as well. So a happy weekend and thank you for sharing all the life learnings that you got. Very positive, very inspirational. It was like bang on to like say, no regrets, no guilt. Just lead your life, just live it and be bold about it. So I would just take that away from you and try to make the most of it. And I'm sure everybody here today as well. So thanks.
Thanks a lot, Archana, and thank you all
Um,
for joining us.